Good morning, everybody. It's Roxanne. I'm still here in Colorado in my extended stay hotel. Um, Today is Friday, July 18th, and I haven't done much videos this week. It's been kind of a busy, crazy week, so let me kind of catch you up on what I've been doing. So, my mom and my stepdad were out here for the weekend for the birthday party, and they left Wednesday. My sister was out here as well, and she left Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, I had my granddaughter here at the hotel room for a sleepover, so that was great. That was so much fun. We played games and had dinner and watched videos all night long. So we had a lot of good times. Then yesterday I met with two of my good friends that I used to bowl with when I lived out here, and we went and did some bowling and then went and had dinner. So it's been a very full, busy week. Now, today, Friday, I don't have anything planned, but I am going to go up to the cemetery where my husband is buried. Today is his birthday. He would be 65 years old today. And the cemetery where he's at is a beautiful, beautiful cemetery. And so I want to do just a video around the cemetery, just so you guys can see how pretty it is. I know some people really like visiting cemeteries, some don't. So I guess this is kind of like a little warning that there's going to be cemetery stuff on here. If you don't like that, then you can just skip to the end. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. Before I do that, I just want to say thank you to a couple of people that have shouted my channel out and helped me to get several of you new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. I'm Roxanne, like I said earlier, and I live in Arizona, and I normally do content around Arizona, but I happened to be in Colorado for 3 weeks. It was my granddaughter's birthday, and I just needed to get out of the heat, which apparently I have brought with me because it's going to be in the mid-90s here all week. Anyways, so welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you very much, and thank you to Carol at Plain Vanilla Grammy and Nikki at the Magic Marshmallow. Thank you so much for shouting my channels out. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all you new subscribers. So let's get ready and head up to the cemetery. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, folks, I made it to the cemetery. It's the Fairmount Cemetery in Denver, and I went in there, and they actually have a little map with a walking tour. So I'm going to try to follow the map as much as I can. So over here, this little building here is just one of the little chapels, I believe. And then here's their main welcome center, and on the other side of it is where that tall sculpture or whatever is, and on the other side of that is where they had the chapel where we did my husband's service. But this cemetery is just really, really, it's old, so it's got some really interesting headstones and buildings and stuff like that. So we're gonna go and take a walk and see what I can come up with. See if I can figure out their walking tour. Okay, there's this beautiful little section here with this gorgeous shade tree. And up here, that building there, sorry, the sun's right on us. That building there is the historic Ivy Chapel. And that, according to the information, was built in 1890. It was designed by Harry, oh gosh, can't pronounce this guy's last name, Harry ten Eyck Wendell, in the 13th century ecclesiastical High French Gothic revival style. So they use it today for weddings and services. So again, it was built in 1890, so this cemetery has been around for a very long time. So we're going to walk up the street here and see what else we can find. Here's a better view of that chapel from head on, not sideways. I had to go back to the car and get my bottle of water. I stopped on the way to get some water. Glad I did, because this is going to be a long walk. And so this is the view of it from technically the front side of the chapel. Isn't that beautiful? The old architecture, just gorgeous. And as we walk through, you know, I love the older cemeteries that have the big statues and the above ground headstones. It's so pretty. And it's just so peaceful. And like I said, I know a lot of people don't like cemeteries. I can't say that I go to a lot of them, because I don't go to any usually, but there's just something about this one that's just so peaceful. And when I come out here to Colorado now, I like to come visit. All right, let's see what we got over here. These people here, this mausoleum, William Barker, 1860. Look at that big statue in the background there. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow. Really, really cool. Good morning. And over here, military area. Let's walk over there. I'm going off the track, but I can't really tell what the map is telling me anyways. Up this way is the military area, so let me see if I can find it. Okay, I kind of strayed off and went a different direction, but look at this headstone. It looks like a scroll on here. Isn't that pretty? I like that. The whole family here. But I love how that one looks like a scroll. Somewhere in here it says that there is a memorial for a Colonel John Shivington, who in 1864 led his troops in the now infamous, brutal attack at Sand Creek. I think everybody's heard of the Sand Creek massacres. So that's what I'm looking for right now. So let's see if I can find it. Okay, I managed to find it. Looks like he was also a Freemason. Born 1821, passed away 1894. Colonel, 1st Colorado Cavalry, 1st Grand Master of Masons in Colorado, 1861. So, we found that one. And all the other beautiful ones here. I mean, there's some big ones. So, All right, let's walk some more and see what we can find. There's another chapel here called Chapel in the Pines. That one's probably really pretty in there too. Actually, that's the chapel that's behind the Welcome Center. Silly me, I've walked around so much I'm not sure where I am. But that's the chapel in there. All right, we are looking over here in this lot because there is a Mr. John Wesley Iliff and an Elizabeth Iliff Warren who in 1859 opened a small general store in Denver City. They were buying gaunt and foot-worn cattle from weary settlers arriving in the area, and he ended up making gains in the cattle business and went on to become Colorado and the West's first gray cattle king. At one point, they herded over 30,000 head of cattle. Mr. Wesley died in 1878, and then his wife passed away. It doesn't say what year, but we'll find it. There is a road out here named for them, Iliff. It's spelled I-L-I-F-F. And what's interesting is when you see it on the freeway signs and stuff, you just think it says lift because the capital I and the L look the same. So people always end up saying lift. It's Iliff, I-L-I-F-F. So let me see if I can find theirs. Be right with you. So it's the one that I showed you earlier, with the big lady on the top. So what's great about this cemetery is that there is so much Colorado history here. I mean, especially this little walking tour. This is great to learn about all this stuff. All right, now we're going to look for the Daly Memorial called Lady of Grief. And this is for Thomas Daly and his wife. So let's go look for that. That's it. That is the Lady of Grief, the original internment site of Thomas Daly, who was interned in 1821. It's a bronze statue designed to represent Mrs. Daly's grief at the loss of her husband. She moved him to the Fairmont Community Mausoleum after that. So it's that statue right there. Okay, I had to take a little break and decided that my back and my legs cannot take all that walking. I've done almost 5,000 steps already for today, and it's not even 10:30 yet. It's 10:29. So that's really good for me. 5,000 for a whole day is usually all I get. So I'm in the car. We're going to still go looking around here because there's a lot more to see. But I'm going to do it driving instead of walking, and then I'll get out and walk around the little plots areas. So let's finish our tour. All right, so right here is the monument for John and Mary Elitch. The Elitch family is very well known in Denver. There is a amusement park, Elitch Gardens, named after them. It said that they opened the Elitch Zoological Gardens in May of 1890 on 16 acres of farmland. And it was actually it was the first zoological park established west of Chicago, is what it said. And so that is the Elitches. Again, they had a theater, and then now there's the amusement park, and so that is where their tomb is. Again, another piece of Denver history. I'm just going to film here while I'm driving slowly in the car. This looks to be a very old section. Early 1900s maybe. Beautiful, surrounded by all the pine trees. Gorgeous surroundings. So we're just driving through an area that I haven't looked through before. Well, most of the cemetery I haven't looked through before. So, just gonna... Schwab, I wonder if that's the Charles Schwab family. I don't know. This section in here looks to be, again, early 1900s maybe. But I also believe that this area in here is a Jewish section. You'll see, like on that one right there, the Star of David. And on a lot of these headstones and stuff in through that area, you will see that. You can tell by a lot of the names too. It's a beautiful area. And then around the front of the car is another really nice area up here. So let me get into another area here. So I had to stop here because it's got this beautiful little memorial quiet area, whatever, reflection area, and it says Emmanuel Cemetery. So my thought is that, yeah, this whole section and through here is the Jewish cemetery part of this big, huge cemetery. It's got the nice little benches for seating, and then it's got all the graves in through there. So yeah, so I had to stop there because I thought that was really cool. And yes, almost all the headstones in here have the little Jewish Star of David on there. Really neat. I think I have some Jewish ancestors in my background. My great-grandparents on my mother's side came from a country that is no longer in existence called Prussia. So, and I believe we had Polish, Russian, and some Jewish in there, in that part of my family. At least that's what I've been told. I was driving towards the back and I looked over at this area and it had some really cute, interesting headstones that I wanted to come and explore. Like this little one here. Looks to have a little lamb on it. I was just a child. Ambrose was only, what, 7 years old? Poor baby. Early 1900s. This one over here looks like a tree stump, like a piece of wood. It's carved like, which again I think is really cool. Mr. Joseph Pearson. It's like a piece of wood. That's pretty awesome how they did that. And the one that caught my eye because it's just kind of standing out here is this big heart-shaped one over here. Isn't that neat? The heart shape on there. Yeah. So there was just like a few that I thought were very interesting looking. So I wanted to come and explore them. Hold on, looks like there's one up here too. You know, so my dad, he passed away in 2015, and he had it in his will, and it was a saying he always said, is that, we had to put it on his headstone. He made us promise, plus he put it in his will, that said, I told you this was going to happen. So that's what was on there. That's what's on his headstone. So I'd love to look around to see if anybody else has put any kind of fun little sayings on their headstones. I haven't seen any so far in this area, but I know there's one in the area where my husband's buried. So when I get to there, I'll show it to you. All right. That one's interesting. I saw where it said boy, and I thought maybe it was an infant, but it says 1909 to 1914, and it just says boy. So I don't know if that's the last name of this person or what. Interesting. This area here seems to have a lot of the mausoleums and stuff. I'm gonna go around this circle here because there's one on the other side that I want you to see. But I'm showing through my window here. Look at those there. I'll have to find out what that big building is back there in a minute. I'm just going around this circle. There's one there with like 2 chairs to sit on. And then some more of the mausoleums. This one up here, I saw that says Myers on it. Look at the statue. That is so pretty. It's gorgeous. So yeah, there was a lot of this little area has a lot of mausoleums. All right, I'm gonna go up and see what that big building is, and I'll let you know in 1 second. Look at that place. There's nothing out here that says what it is. I don't know what that building is, but wow. It says Fairmont Mausoleum on the top. So I wonder if there's like a bunch of mausoleums inside there. Interesting. That's pretty neat. Pretty big building. Very old architecture. Very, very old architecture. All right, there's something over here too. Let's see what this is. Temple Hoyne Buell. I'm not quite sure. But I know there's a Buell Theater out here, so I wonder if it's from that family. Probably. Okay, I just want to read something about that community mausoleum, that big one. It says the construction began in 1929, completed in 1930. It's the largest building of its kind between Kansas City and the West Coast. It houses one of the largest collections of private stained glass windows in the state. Constructed of concrete, marble, and reinforced steel, the building is the final resting place for over 18,000 people in that building. Wow. I don't know if you can go in it. I'm not sure. Anyways, I thought that was interesting about that one. This is the side of that building, so I guess I can see why they say it's so big, because this is all part of it. Look at that. Wow. That is very big. Okay, sir or ma'am. William and Deborah Surecki. William, you're still around, looks like, but I say you guys win the prize for the best headstone. Absolutely love the motorcycle. Deborah, rest in peace. William, keep on riding, baby. Every time I get out of the car to go look at another headstone, when I come back, there's a wasp flying around. Ugh, I'm allergic to bees and wasps, so I don't like that they're there. I want them gone. All right. I'm not sure which way I'm going now, but I'm kind of stuck by a tree here, and there's traffic going around me. But the tree is covering up half the road. So, all right, I'll be back in a minute or two. All right, that one there looks really neat. Little big area there, and it's even got steps leading up to it. Back a little ways, I saw a whole section for, it said Elks, so the people who were in the BPOE, the Elks Club, whole section for them as well. And we're going forward here, like that little gazebo over there. It's got some little benches inside there for sitting. And there's a Fairmont sign on it. Can't really read what it says. See if I can zoom in enough to see it. There we go. Fairmont Old Rose Garden. Okay, so it's a little rose garden area. That's really neat. Okay, I know I have the camera faced in a different direction, but I kind of wanted you to get an idea of how big this monument back here is. This is towards the back of the cemetery. It's, I think, a newer section. Look how big that thing is. It's so cool. All right, let me turn it the correct way now. I seem to be having trouble knowing which button to press when I'm videoing. There are a couple of cars here in this next section, and I see people walking into that section, so I'm not going to do talking in there. I'll just show around, and then I'll do a voiceover on it. But this section here is called the Highline Garden area, and it's where a lot of, well, all of the people in this section were cremated. I don't know if there's another section of cremations, but this section was designed specifically for that. It's just this beautiful little garden area, and through here. Listen how peaceful it is. My husband's buried right over here. They did not remove his Raiders insignia, thank goodness. Y'all know my husband was a huge Raiders fan, so. Here's the one that I told you had something, a good saying on it. Mr. Perry here. I think my dad would have liked him. Says, "Now I know something you don't know." Yeah. I think my dad would have got along really well with him. Just a beautiful area. Well, folks, I've been here for a couple of hours now. And it's starting to get towards lunchtime and I'm getting a little hungry. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. This cemetery is so huge I didn't even cover half of it. But I didn't want to make this video too long either. But I hope you guys liked it. Again, it's something that some people don't care for, and I apologize if this wasn't your thing, but I thought it was really interesting. I love seeing all the headstones, and I just love how peaceful it sounds here. And I love all the big grown trees. It's just, this is the one thing about Colorado that I so miss living in Arizona, is that there's no place around where I live that has these big, huge, shady trees that just make everything so beautiful and peaceful. That's, you know, in green, and just something that isn't in the desert. But anyways, I will say goodbye now. I'm actually going to get some lunch and head up to Boulder, because I want to go to the Celestial Seasonings tea shop. They have all different kinds of teas up there that they don't have in the regular stores. I've done the tour of the place many times. I would do it again, but they won't let you film in there anyway, so it doesn't really make sense for me to take you guys on that tour. So I will do a little bit up there, maybe show you around the tea shop itself. And if this video isn't too long, I'll add it to the end. Otherwise, I'll make a second video. All right? You guys have a blessed day. If I don't see you again on this video, I will see you on the next one. God bless. Take care. This is Roxanne, temporarily at home in Colorado. Bye.